let's move on into, you are the volunteer advisor to NASAM. So let's talk a bit more about NASAM. What does NASAM do and how does NASAM actually help people who have strokes?
NASAM is the National Association of Stroke Malaysia, founded in 1996. So that's like, they have been actually growing strong for the last many years.
Okay.
And the initial intention is actually to provide the opportunity for stroke survivors to undergo rehab once they're out of hospital. So the way I see it, it actually fills in, the opportunity and fills the gap for somebody to continue having proper rehabilitation in a very good setting in which there are a lot of peer support as well, because NASAM does group therapy, one-to-one, they have got social community outings, excursions, and many other interesting activities. So all those things will definitely contribute to recovery.
And talking about NASAM and what they do, like you were saying, John, they had group therapy and things like that. Actually having that community to actually help each other and support each other is actually very important, correct?
Super important, yes.
And talking about that, how, because you just going back to rehabilitation, just something I thought of is, a lot of people that they go to hospitals, they go for rehab. It's much more easier to go through something when you're in a group. To have the same type of people around you that actually went through the same thing that you went through. And how does NASAM try to have that? Is there a big community of people in Malaysia? And now I think they have like 9 centers in the whole of Malaysia. So growing like that is actually very important.
Definitely. Like I say, the rehab is actually a process, from the time you are in the acute and in hospital for rehab per se, and it continues right through community, because participation in community is actually very much important. And NASAM feels, the strength of NASAM is that it provides a very good avenue for community rehab for stroke survivors. And when we see community, it is not just the physical part of it, but the emotional and the psychological well-being, which is actually very important. I have got to be, I have got to give a lot of credit to NASAM for having their active involvement in providing this community aspect of rehab.
Okay. Now talking about that, there's something called the stroke games, which I just found out recently. So maybe we can share a bit more about that.
The stroke games was first. It was first in 2 years ago in 2017, and it was very interesting to see. In a games situation, the goal would be to win, right? So there is the winning element to it. There's also the psychological element to it, because people train, so they get physically strong, and just with activities alone, that actually increases their self-esteem, their confidence. It improves their agility, coordination, and what you can see is that the games itself, after the games, a lot of the stroke survivors inform that they felt that they can do a lot of things, right? They felt that yes, there is definitely life after stroke, which is what NASAM have been championing for. So this time around, the second time, this is the second stroke games, and I guess looking at it from an outsider point of view, NASAM is actually going so much forward in turning these stroke events to something which is actually big, and involving more events, more challenging events, and with this, even during the process of training for the games itself, the stroke survivors or stroke champions are actually improving by the day. So this is
they have actually something to look forward to, something to
exactly. So the goal is with, and throughout the process, they are actually improving so much in terms of physical and also the confidence. NASAM is bringing the stroke games to another different level altogether. Okay, as you can see, the events have have actually evolved from probably simple indoor events like what we had 2 years ago, but now it has actually developed so much. Evolved track games, 100 meters, 300 meters, hurdles, triathlons, there's a lawn bowl, there's a wheelchair games, yes, there's lifting, there's also archery. So you can see this is not just a simple games, and I can see that the stroke games is actually brought up to a very high level, and it is not just about the games itself, it's also about the person, the personal individual themselves, that actually, they actually escalate themselves to a certain level, and this is what they might not even think they can do, and there you go. We probably see a lot of magic happening within this week, weekend during the stroke
what
games.
What about the participants? What are the age ranges of the participants, and how are they in for the stroke?
Okay, this is interesting, Rishan, because the youngest is 15 years old.
15 years
15,
old. Okay.
and the eldest is 81.
81.
Okay, and a whole lot of range in between.
Okay. And all stroke survivors.
Stroke survivors.
And all trying to better themselves for.
Exactly, and if you've got to see stories, behind the scenes stories, I'm pretty sure you'll get a lot of success stories even before the games itself, because they just get better with just practicing for the games, and I think that really drives the point that stroke recovery doesn't happen just during the early phase of after a stroke, but it can continue as long as you put in effort. If you actually have specific focus and you have the motivation to actually persevere and want to be better each day.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Final question for you. Now, if anybody who's watching this at home, they want to get more information on NASAM, or they want to contact NASAM, what can they do?
You can go to NASAM website. This is NASAM, NASAM, and www.nasam.org. You can actually also email to them at info@nasam.org, and you can actually be in contact depending on where the centers that you may want to go. Yeah, 9 centers, East Malaysia and West Malaysia as well, and you'll get a lot of information there, and by all means do contact the personnel in charge.
Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your time, and thank you for watching. We'll be right back after this, still talking about NASAM, still talking about stroke, and a very important message after this, which is there is life after stroke. After this.